Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble News Channel. Bitcoin's weekly RSI chart showed a break from a very important line from 2018, which you can see in white on the screen right now. A few people were scared about that breakdown. It would have made me worry. But I was able to tell that Bitcoin went straight into a new type of market system. It immediately made a descending wedge shape after that breakdown, which might be the same shape as the one we see on the Ethereum chart RSI. That is, the break from the 6-year support line might not have been as bad as we would have thought if there wasn't that wedge shape. There is some good news there, though. It does in fact show some level of strength, and it definitely shows that the weakness that would have been there if the RSI had broken down on the weekly line wasn't true. That's good news. In the short run, Bitcoin is making progress as shown by the charts. There is also some good news there. There are a few more things we need to do to get out of the woods for good. We also need to look into the CPI decision that is coming up today, as well as the DXY, the SP 500, and a few other things in standard markets, just to keep you up to date. This video shouldn't take too long. Just some general news for today. Let's take a look at the two conversations I talk about on this YouTube channel first. They are Bit2Nix and BingX. Use the links below to visit these platforms and sign up. When you do, you'll get a 15% discount on your trading fees. You can join from anywhere in the world because they don't do know your customer KYC. I personally chose these trades. I picked them out myself. It wasn't just any email I got about my rewards that I chose. Email address, I picked them myself. I use both of them, and when you use my referral links, you can get a 15% discount on your trading fees. They've never been hacked, and their trading fees were already very low. If you're interested, you can check them out using the links below. Let's get to the stuff. I'm going to start with the weekly chart because I still think it's the most important thing about Bitcoin right now. Okay, weekly chart, RSI in particular, let's start by going over what the structure is, and then we'll speak about the RSI. Okay, so I think the best way to describe the current state of the market is to look at the general macro range as a downward channel formation, not as a horizontal range. This has been the case since the beginning of March. It's been about 5 months or almost 6 months, now 5.5 months to be exact. I can see that channel creation is pretty much the only way to make Bitcoin strong overall. If it breaks down, I think Bitcoin is in a bad spot and definitely in a bear market. This is especially true if we break the other yellow lines on the screen, which are just extra support lines, right? At least one of them goes backwards from 2018 and one from late last year. At least one of them also goes backwards from the neckline of resistance at the dead cat bounce top in 2021, right? The yellow lines are very important, but the main thing that will determine Bitcoin's safety in the broad range is how the channels form. We are safe because we are in that broad range right now, and these yellow lines are kind of proof of that, right? That's why things are going well for Bitcoin right now. I'll say that we're near the bottom of the line. In a technical sense, this means we are under danger or pressure. Prices are moving very quickly right now, but nothing bad has happened yet. There hasn't been any proof of the downside yet. That's why we should be looking for a bounce if we're at support. And that's what I want Bitcoin to see here. We had yesterday, which is now 2 days ago. On the weekly chart, Bitcoin broke below a very important RSI line that had been there since 2018. That sentence is very important. In fact, each and every RSI line you see on the weekly chart is very important. We can go ahead and check this out. Okay, let's just draw a couple. This is a resistance line. It stopped the COVID drop at the start of the bull market in 2021. This is a resistance line. It marked the end of the bear market in 2022 and the beginning of a new upswing that has continued to this day. This is yet another breaking of a resistance line. It happened between March and October 2023, which is when I meant to say November. It ended a 7-month consolidation and started the move that led to the ETF decision and all-time highs at 74K. We know for sure that these RSI lines are very, very important. Also, just the white line from 2018 that broke down. That line was broken for the first time over here, which ended the dead cat bounce, which is why that level at 47K was marked as a bear market structure. This turned out to be true when we tried it again during the ETF period. And it led to a crash that marked the bottom of the bear market, right? All of this is very, very true. RS lines on a weekly chart are very important because of this. And the fact that they went down and broke that white line of a downside would have been very scary if we hadn't done something possibly quite good during the breakdown, right? We came and made a new wedge shape that goes down, which you can see in yellow. Okay, that's important because it means we still have help here. There is still a service zone that is set up. This breakdown isn't really a breakdown. There's a good chance it's a fake out. It's also important because a descending wedge shape is a sign that the market is going up. In fact, it's the most positive sign you can find in the market. Also, it's a good thing because Ethereum's RSI weekly chart also has a descending wedge shape. This is because Ethereum's price movement tends to match and predict Bitcoin's. There are a lot of good signs right here. So this drop that would have been a disaster if it had happened would not have been a disaster. It is likely that Bitcoin is now below its support zones. Since many people think Bitcoin is going down, this is a chance for it to get stronger, right? It's possible that this will cause a bounce. Of course, it's bad news if we go down at the same time that we break that weekly chart wedge. After that, we can talk about bear cases. But I'm not sure about the bear case for one right now because we're still in the broader structure. And second, that RSI decline on the weekly chart wasn't all bad news. In the end, what I see here is actually a chance, okay? I'm not saying I'm very bullish right now. I'm macro bullish because the market is set up to be macro positive. We haven't yet broken through the broad bullish structure. But I see a chance, and I think cautious confidence is the best way to handle this. I do think we are at resistance with Bitcoin right now. That's a given, okay? There is no question at all about that. We look at the charts for the next few years. We have this red box with resistance between 58K and 56K. We are checking that right now to see if it blocks right now. As a matter of fact, we went up and then down quickly. This happened right after Bitcoin had a bit of a comeback. I just drew this pink line on the screen and we broke it. 4-lane RSI line on the chart was also broken. I'll draw it in now so you can see it. Indeed, a number of breaks have led to this rise. We saw those breaks, which is good, but we still need to do more to be safe, right? Is the fact that Bitcoin has seen a higher low point here. That is, in fact, the first higher low. For example, this is the first low, which is 50K or 49K. This is where the second low would have been at 52K. Now, this is very important. It's possible that that's the first higher low Bitcoin has made in 6 months. It's not official yet because, well, from that point of view, you could have said that was a higher low, but it didn't lead to a global breakout. So that's not what you meant. If we can also break the high, this could be the first higher low Ethereum has made in 6 months. As a general rule, a higher low is not enough to establish a falling trend. On the other hand, a lower high is sufficient to establish an upward trend. You also need a break of a further high. Once you have a higher low and then a higher high, you have a low that is higher than the most recent low, and then a high that is higher than the most recent high. This is called an increase. There are 4 data points, which is enough to show a trend. In this case, the trend is up, and it can sometimes look like a declining channel, which would show resistance and weakness when the price breaks down, or it can look much more bullish, which would keep the strength up. So here's what I'd like Bitcoin to do now, since it does have a chance, okay? The RSI for the week shows that it is at support. The chance to bounce